Hello, everybody. Today, we're talking about one of the most important decisions you can make in your life, and that's deciding or discerning what your vocation is. Now, a vocation is different than just a normal job or some part time thing you do on the side and just for a little bit of extra income. A vocation is a calling from God, and that is your purpose in life is your vocation. Now, your vocation can be something you're not doing right now. There's different ways that you can discern a vocation, and discerning is often referred to as something that Catholic priests do or young men do if they're wanting to possibly be a Catholic priest. I'm discerning being a Catholic priest myself, but discernment can be a range of different things. It's not limited just to being a priest. Now, there's three ways that vocations come, and the three ways that vocations come is either marriage, priesthood or religious life, or a single life. Single life is very unique. Single life can be that you're living God's plan for you in a unique way. Priesthood is religious life is that you're preaching the word of God to everyone through ministry and consecration. Marriage is a sacramental bond that imitates Christ's love. In all three of those, there's nothing wrong. Each of them has their pros and cons in life, but the most important thing about each of them is that it's a calling from God. There's a lot of priests that almost became married, but they got their calling from God right before they got married. They became priests. There's a lot of married men who were discerning becoming a priest and then met the love of their life that God put in their life. But a vocation isn't just what you do, it's what you're called to become. And it's not necessarily all your choice. Man, you can have some says in it, but God doesn't call the qualified. He qualifies the called. He already knows what your strengths and your weaknesses, your passions, your hates, what you don't like to do in life. And your vocation can be something that you may hate at the start, but God's plan is greater than your own, and you always have to remember that. A good Bible verse is Romans 12:2, and it says, do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your minds, so that you may discern what is the will of God, what is good and acceptable and perfect. Now, you notice in that Bible verse it says, do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your minds. And that ties back to what I said about you may not like it at the start. You may have to readjust your mind to think this certain way because you may not think that this is what your calling is, because you truly won't know automatically. You may get a job, you're making a lot of money, and you're like, oh my gosh, this is my calling. I love this. But you're liking the worldly aspect of it. How is it influencing your faith life? I'm not saying that every single person's job has to be about faith. It's just, in the end, what matters. You die in your sleep and you're judged before God. What did you do in your life that helped influence and spread his word to some extent? Because in the end, what matters more? What car you drove, your husband or wife, what they looked like, your house, how much money you had in your bank account, how much crypto you had, none of that matters. What does matter is the faith and works you did on this earth. Because we see in James that faith without works is dead. Another Bible verse I'd like to point out that I have pulled up here is Philippians 1:9-10. It says that you may be able to discern what is best and may be pure and blameless for a day of Christ, a day of Christ. And that Bible verse, when it's talking about you may be able to discern what is best, is not necessarily your choice on what is best, but what you feel is God's calling to you. Because you ultimately your vocation will always be in the back of your head once you get a little glimpse of it, because that is God's ultimate call for you. Now, I hope when you're watching this video, you have a little bit more of an idea of what a vocation is and what you need to be looking for in a vocation. Essentially, you need to listen to the voice in your head. And being able to discern, to decipher if it's God or if it's you, can be tricky sometimes. A good thing that you can look back on is, how does the church promote this? What is the church is teaching towards it? What is Christ teaching towards it? What does the Bible say about it? Maybe if you're called to do a job, that maybe it's something that you happen to be not too faithful in. I don't know a good example right now, but you demoralize people for a living. Maybe you're doing OnlyFans, selling your body, selling essentially your soul to the world. That is not your vocation. I can guarantee you that. And you'll hear that voice in your head that'll talk and be like, this isn't the best idea, maybe. Because the biggest difference between the good and the bad on the shoulder whispering in your ear, as you see in the movies, is that essentially one will make you feel terrible afterwards and one will make you feel great afterwards. I hope that you all have a blessed day and that your Lent can keep going strong. Just know that I'm praying for you all. Have a blessed day.